Welcome back to another Souls ranking, and today we're doing something special, and no, it's not ranking bosses, areas, or even bridges. I still can't believe I did that. Today it's back to music. These types of videos are my absolute favorite because I love Soulsborne and I love talking music. We're ranking every main theme from the Soulsborne Elden Ring universe from worst to best. As always, this is just my list, so let me know what yours is down below. And let's start with number 7, Dark Souls 2. Man, DS2 can't catch a break, huh? It seems like it ends up last in like literally every one of these rankings. And I even do give it credit when it's due. It's just Dark Souls 2 struggling. It got COVID, lost its job, it just needs some support through this rough patch. Every Souls theme has its unique and distinct atmosphere that it's trying to hit home. And the best of the best match the game that it's from. This can go from pure bombast to pure atmosphere. Dark Souls 2 is definitively in the atmosphere category, which really means it has to hit a melancholic, nostalgic tone perfectly to match the tracks that really do go above and beyond to get you pumped up. Unfortunately, this leans more into monotonous levels of repetition with minimal variation. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it, but it's by no means a standout in a set of amazing tracks. It actually reminds me a lot of the song Daydreaming by Radiohead. It has a very similar cadence, but the dynamics and variation and distinct atmosphere constructed by Daydreaming far and away exceeds that of the Dark Souls 2 main theme. There are no other songs on this list that make me think of other songs really, so that's a huge detriment to Dark Souls 2's staying power. Number 6, Sekiro. I'm by no means an expert on traditional Japanese instrumentation, but when I hear this track, I feel instantly transported to feudal Japan in the age of shinobi. I love how it instantly screams at you that this is not your typical Souls game. This is a huge improvement on the Dark Souls 2 main theme, as it actually inspires emotion in me. It's a lot more mature in its presentation with dissonance and resolution, waves of strings that ebb and flow, and constant dynamic shifts. One detail that I found interesting here was when the music suddenly seemed to cut out. At first it seemed like a production error, but when reading the comments, I came across the theory that it's supposed to be a musical representation of the death and rebirths that the wolf will go throughout the game. It's almost like a waterfall cascading strings and swirls of delight. What keeps this lower is that it's really short, the loop is only about a minute long, and though I was originally planning on having this one place a little higher, I just couldn't justify it with a song that I have to listen to really remember. I can't say that I have to check on any of the ones above this spot on the list to make sure that I remember all the details, so it sits here, but it sits proudly as a solid entry into the catalog. Number 5, Dark Souls 1. The Dark Souls 1 main menu theme probably holds a special place in many of our hearts. It sounds to me like a harp with wind chimes and a delicate synth pad of ethereal calm. It's a vastly superior version of Dark Souls 2's soothing and eerie attempt, filled with minor changes throughout to keep the track dynamic, but enough sameness to feel like a melancholic lullaby. The synthy bass changes the root of the looping harp throughout, which does actually change the vibe dramatically with subtlety. And it has some strangely haunting changes throughout the piece as well. It's probably the most likely song on this list to be listened to casually, as with its constant stream, it feels like an excellent relaxation piece. It does add to the charm of the Dark Souls 1 experience as a whole, but in comparison to the absolute bangers above, it doesn't quite wow in the same way. I could see if the subdued melancholy of chimes and bells and harp is your style, and that you could place this a little higher than I think is necessary, but it's certainly objectively less musically intricate than those above it. I wouldn't want to kill you if you placed it a lot higher though. Number 4, Demon Souls. I only just heard this banger for the first time in my recent Demon Souls playthrough. I've heard the original and the remake, and both are honestly top tier FromSoft tracks. What makes this one stand out is the ominous and epic combination. Not quite to the horror level of Bloodborne, but almost. It's got a lot more to it than every song below it on the list, with a few really distinct sections. It's a couple minutes long, not the 1 minute of Sekiro's theme, and it's not a loop like Dark Souls 1 and 2. It's got this really strong impending sense of doom, but more like Doom 2016 than doom like, ah! It feels like borderline metal. It's driving, exhilarating, and powerful. Like me, when I play a Souls game. Oh, and this choir section is amazingly dissonant. It actually conjures to memory Ludwig's transition with all these off-kilter voices. Of course, the original does sound like it was made with toy instruments a bit, but that's kind of the charm, right? And the remake remedies that, so no matter which one you pick, there's something for everyone. Number 3, Bloodborne. Jesus, that's scarier than my memories of high school. This piece is intricately woven, musical prowess dripping with haunting terror. What really gets me is the simmering tension as the strings prance up and down and flutter with anticipation. Then that huge drop that absolutely just floors you. Penalty flag on the field. You did not have to go that hard, main theme. Every melodic and harmonic choice is perfection, and it's a wonder that this could possibly place third. The vocals are some of the coolest in the entire Bloodborne OST, but the strings are the real standout here. The main reason that this somehow places third is simply the level of competition. I suppose I could say that compared to the best of the best from the Bloodborne OST, this wouldn't really be in the top tier of tracks, but as far as main themes go, this captures the world of Bloodborne flawlessly. Number 2. There is just about no main theme to any game that has got me as hyped as the Elden Ring main theme does. The pulsing drums, the borderline distorted brass as it bellows powerfully over the frantic strings and screaming choir. It's such a harsh departure from, well, every song in the entire series, almost to the level of Sekiro with how different it is. I'd almost consider it orchestral pop with how it's kind of like somewhat repetitive and harmonically kind of simple, other than this really short but cool detour. But what really stands out here is just how empowering and epic it is. It's not quite as haunting as the typical FromSoft song, but every time I boot up the game, I just feel so pumped to get back into the Lands Between and eat some ass. Wait, did I say eat? I meant eat. Wait, I meant beat. So many of the songs in Souls are depressing and dour, but definitely not the Elden Ring main theme. God, it's so hype. I suppose if I had to cite one complaint, it could be that it's kind of improved on with the OST, The Final Battle, which includes the entire Elden Beast's beastly theme. But this version shows off more brass that is just some of my favorite sounding brass in any recording ever. So with the thromping drums, the bellowing brass, the frantic strings, and the glorious choir, this track easily places itself as my second favorite theme of the Souls world. But number one is obviously Dark Souls 3. Oh, give it to me. Sweet Jesus, that's good. Hot damn. Oh my god, every second of this blissful masterpiece gets me going. I'm gonna have to analyze this one just a little bit more. The dissonant choir at the start has this super drawn out and beautiful sound to it, but the tension hints at the explosion yet to come. The really interesting part of this intro, though, is the way the strings play. At first, they are providing this rapid pulsing, but quickly change to a slower pulse, totally changing the rhythmic cadence of the song, at least in my head. And then we get one of the best drops of all time. Oh my god, the way the voice and the strings interplay here, it's like Lady Maria on steroids. I just can't get enough. Then it pulls back with this beautiful string part filled with harmonies, just to jump in even harder again, providing this continuous ebb and flow of beauty and chaos. God, every time this hits, I get chills. Even now, just talking about it, I have them. The vocals sound so good too. Holy shit. This isn't just my favorite theme of all time, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. It ends with a reprisal of the first drop's melody, but played flawlessly with strings only, to give it another perspective of a perfect section. I'll never lose my love for this track, and you're not necessarily evil if it's not your favorite, but we definitely can't be friends. 95% of you are not subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so much. Like the video if you liked it, and let me know your list down below. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and peace.